Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Air Raid Hour. My name is Steve Mathis. You can find me, as always, on Twitter at Judge Mathis, and I am joined by my co-host Dave Tilton. You can find him on Twitter at Tilt Money. Together, we are the Bills guys, presented by the Buffalo Fanatics, and presented by, as always, Manscaped. And I feel like we can't even, Dave, do an ad read for Manscaped because of sort of just such a great story that Casey told. And I think I'm talking to myself at this point because I don't even know if Dave is here. We got Dave. We got Dave in the house.
Yeah, sorry, I was having some internet issues. I'm back. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I was just mentioning how I just feel like we can't even do an ad read anymore for Manscaped after that story that Casey told. It's just we're gonna have to get that thing recorded, put on tape or something.
Yeah, I mean, the fact of the matter is that I don't know that we can top it because like his is like a legit story. It's real.
Like lives were
And
changed.
lives were changed. They really were. And like literally a life was created because of it. So
So head on over to Manscaped, 20% off plus free shipping by using the promo code Fanatics. And they got a whole bunch of great stuff in there. It's not just a ball shaver, guys. It is you got the nose hair trimmer. I got these nice ball wipes. Keeps you nice and fresh all day. But all right, let's get this thing started today. And let's start off just hitting around the league because there's been a lot of Bills centric news. The crux of our show today is going to be the draft, and we're going to our mock draft with some of our favorite players. And then we're going to bring on a bunch of special guests to do some mock drafts as well. So it's going to be our mock Draft-A-Palooza. But before we get into that, some big news in Bills Mafia. I want to start with the first one. This one might be like lower on the Bills Mafia totem pole, but Gerald Casey was released by the
yep.
Denver Broncos today. And Gerald Casey is a really interesting player to me because a lot of people was like, well, he's 31. He played 3 games last year, blah, 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 blah. But like this dude was an elite player in Tennessee. He was a really good player through 2019. And his injury last year was a torn bicep, which is something I picture a defensive lineman with a full year of rehab and training being able to come back from. We've seen plenty of players come back from that injury. So if I'm the Buffalo Bills, is Gerald Casey a guy that maybe is plan B behind a JJ Watt?
I would hope so. We've seen Gerald Casey play, obviously, in multiple different defensive schemes. I mean, we know that historically he was in that 3-4 in Tennessee, but although Denver, had traditionally run a 3-4, they did a bit of a mix this year with Fangio, and they kind of had a bit of a hybrid. And I know he only played 3 games, but this is a guy that was really talented that the Broncos traded for. I've mentioned to you a couple times, my best friend is a Broncos fan, and he was like, look, the new GM, clearly Elway's not the puppet master here, because Elway was the guy who traded for Jarrell Casey, brought him in. This new GM in Denver is obviously being able to make moves. They didn't feel like the $12 million he was going to be owed this year was worth it for a guy that played 3 games for them last year. So for Denver, they have to look at it more as, is he worth the amount of money that they were going to have to pay them? Whereas the Bills can look at it now more as like, look, it's a clean slate. Yeah, you only played 3 games, but there's going to be a market for him. But I don't think, given that situation, that he's probably, and his age, that he's going to demand close to that 12 million he was going to be owed by Denver. So if you can look at him and say, look, maybe we can bring Gerald Casey in here for 1 year, 2 years. I don't know what his market value is going to be like. I would imagine it probably somewhere in the 6 to 8 million a year range. I could be off with that, but that's kind of where my head was thinking. Then yeah, you give him a chance because he's proven to be a productive player in this league. And at that age, he can still be productive. We've seen Kyle Williams do it with the Bills at that age. We've seen Ted Washington, Sam
And
Adams.
Ndamukong Suh.
We see older guys that can do it at that age. So I'm not worried about the age. And I'm honestly, given the injury, not worried too much about that, given how early it happened. There will be a market for him. The Bills probably would have competition for him, but it might be a cheaper alternative to a JJ Watt, although obviously a different position.
And that brings me to my next thought, because the next question I wanted to sort of pose to you is, all these guys are being released because of cap situations. All of these guys are about to hit the free agent market in sort of an unprecedented time where the salary
Mhm.
cap is so low and not many teams have money. So the market that I think a lot of these guys think they're going to have, it just doesn't exist.
Right.
So everyone in Bills Mafia right now is clamoring for one thing. They are clamoring for on the first day of free agency or even before free agency starts with JJ Watt. Everyone wants the Buffalo Bills to sign a player that's going to do this. That's what they want. They want a name. They want
Mhm.
something flashy.
Yep.
But the more and more I think about it, and let me know what you think, and people in the comment section, let me know what you think as well. Should the Buffalo Bills be radio silent for the first month of free agency? Like, I'm dead serious. Should the Buffalo Bills not even pick up the phone and call anyone for the first month of free agency? Because there's still going to be a boatload of talent left, in the weeks preceding the draft and the weeks after the draft. The Buffalo Bills could get literally, I feel like probably, $8 million players for $2 million if you wait long enough, if you're willing to be that patient, because the market's just not going to be there for a ton of these guys. Am I crazy to think that the Buffalo Bills should just wait, even though we fans will go absolutely nuts if they do?
Well, I mean, you saw how crazy the fans got 2 years ago when we didn't sign anybody except Frank Gore on day 1, and then we ended up getting Beasley and Brown and Morse and all
Mhm.
that, but that was 1 day, right? I mean, but to wait that long, yeah. I mean, I think people will understand given the cap situation that it's gonna have to be more strategic. It can't be like a free for all like it typically is,
Mhm.
during the tampering period and during the opening window of free agency because of that, and the only way I would say that the Bills don't do that if there are specific players that they want to try to go after and they want to go after them early. Now, if there's like a position and they have a list of like 5, 6 guys that they're kind of okay with and they're like all of these guys are kind of pretty much the same to us, we'll see how it kind of pans out after the first week or let's say week or so and a couple of those guys are still sitting out there, then yeah, maybe they are okay with that route. The only way they're not going to do that is if there's a very specific player that they want to go out and get.
Yeah. So like Jeff comes in and says, "Guys, I don't have a lot of time, but what is it that both of your takes on what we need offensively and defensively to put us over the top?" I don't think we need anything offensively. I literally don't think we need anything offensively, and that's part of my take here. Like part of my take here is concentrate on your own. Let's worry about ourselves in the beginning of free agency. We still haven't cut Quentin Jefferson yet. We still haven't cut Vernon Butler yet. We still haven't cut John Brown yet. So technically, we only have $2 million to play with right now.
Mario
If
Addison's still there.
Yep, Mario Addison's still there. Lee Smith hasn't retired yet. I think he's waiting for like a parade or something. I don't know what he's expecting, but I think what the Buffalo Bills need to do is Feliciano Williams. Boom, you're done for like the first month of free agency. And then I legitimately think that between the draft and the bargain bin players that you're going to get a month into free agency, like you might be able to get Gerald Casey a month into free agency. Like we think there's a market for him, but maybe there's not a biggest market for him, or
Mhm.
Ndamukong Suh, or Tyson Alualu. There are plenty of defensive linemen that we could possibly get a month into free agency for 1/4 the price on a 1-year
Mhm.
deal because they just want to come to Buffalo, prove they still got it, and then hit free agency the next year. So, to me, let's tread water with this offense, bring Feliciano and Darrell Williams back, and then I feel like we're just be patient, and those defensive players will come to us through the draft and the bargain bin. But I could be wrong.
Well,
We could go out and sign
well,
JJ Watt, and I'll be just as happy.
I think that what you just said is
Mhm,
what the key is, right? If you're patient and you're okay with bargain bin and you're not gonna be splashy, like Bean said, then it doesn't really matter how long you wait. Because the fact of the matter is there will be bargain bin guys
mhm,
at any given point in time. There are bargain bin guys now, in theory, that are going to be
mhm,
like there will be guys like there's not going to be a shortage of players. Not like saying you know every single guy in the NFL is going to be signed. Like there will be someone available. Spin says Cover One broke down
mhm.
16 restructures that can help free up 53
Yeah,
million in
and
cap
and
space.
and we've mentioned that on this show before. The Buffalo Bills can get to 40, 50 million under the cap
Hmm.
in the
Yep.
snap of a finger. But The issue you run into the issue you run in there is you're pushing guaranteed money into the future. So those players that you're restructuring, you better, number one, be confident they're going to stay healthy. And number two, be confident they're going to be good players for you into the future. Because when you
Mhm.
go to cut them in 3 or 4 years, it's going to sting. So those
Yes.
players that you're restructuring, you got to be confident. Like to me, Deion Dawkins, Trey White, those are the guys I'm looking at restructuring because
Diggs.
Diggs, if you're not confident in their future with your football team, that stuff's going to sting down the road. So yes, we can do that. It's an option. I think a
Mhm.
lot of people are going to be doing are going to be utilizing that option, but I'm not 100% sold on it. Like I don't think we need to free up 40-50 million dollars. I don't think it's
You
necessary.
you don't need to take it to that extreme.
Mhm.
You don't need to do it with every single guy that you think is not worth their contract right now.
Yeah.
You do it with a select few guys that you feel like into the future are still going to be players for you, like you said, that produce, and then you see where it ends up.
Mhm.
Because in the long run, you don't want to do something like that just okay. I get it. There's two trains of thought. In the long run, you don't want to do it because you don't want to mortgage future years, even though we expect cap to be back to normal situations, but you still might put yourself in cap trouble in the future if you do that. The other frame of mind is, well, let's go for it in 2021 since we were so close in 2020. And let's not worry so much about that. And let's get the best players we can in 2021 because we're in a Super Bowl window right now. So I can kind of understand both arguments, but if you're talking about long-term sustainability and you want to be a team that's continuously in the playoffs and deep into the playoffs every year, I think you have to find a happy
Mhm.
balance somewhere in there where, yes, you restructure maybe 3 or 4 guys and you free up some room so that you can actually have some maneuverability this year, but it doesn't really hamper you too much in
You,
future years.
you know who's a team that likes to restructure contracts? The New Orleans Saints.
Yeah.
And they had the luxury of doing that because they were all in. They've been doing that since Drew Brees was 30 plus years old. Our quarterback's 25. What happens when we end up in the New Orleans Saints in the New Orleans Saints cap situation and Josh Allen's 29? Josh Allen's 30. He's going to pull a Deshaun Watson. He's going to pull a Russell Wilson.
Right.
So to me, this year is sort of like it sucks. It is what it is. Everything's going to go back to everything's going to go back to normal next year. So like I feel like maybe we just got to take our lumps this year. Like because we're about to talk about JJ Watt in a second and I'm starting to really cool down on JJ Watt. I love the player. I love what he brings to the team. All those different things, but I'm just really cooling off on thinking he's not that he's attainable. I think he's attainable, but that just he's necessary. But before we do that, we did not shout out the people in the chat. So let us know, Dave, who's in the chat section before we get moving on to the JJ Watt talk.
Yep, no problem. So we got Colin Cuoco's in, D Handsome, Pierre, the Kingpin is in the house tonight. I don't know if he's going to be in the whole time, but he was in chatting it up with some people. James FX90. We already saw Spin 0481. Richard Rush is in the house. Sheldon Cole. We've got Adam Stark in the house. Brian Bowers in the house. Ryan Teal is in the house. Kendall Mursky, Jeff King, um, Daniel Gowries, Chris Howard. So we've got a lot of regulars, and we got some new people
Mhm,
too. So I want to shout out some new people. Mr. Wick, oh no, is new in the house tonight. Oh, Lone Wolf, a regular of ours, he's back. John Marlowe is new.
mhm.
Adam Stark is new. So we've got a good mix of people in tonight. And while you're at it, if people can smash that like button on YouTube or Facebook, we would really appreciate that.
Mhm.
And as always, if you have something you want to get off your chest, put that super chat in, and
Yeah.
we'll hit your comment right away.
John Herring says, "Get that DT from the Broncos." That was how we started our show, man. So rewind it just a little bit to the top of the show. We talked about. I wrote in my notes Kendall Short, but it's not Kendall Short. Darrell Casey. It's Darrell Casey. I almost screwed that up right at the top of the show. But
Jarrell Casey, right?
the other news to talk about today is JJ Watt because we're still on
Mhm.
JJ Watt watch, which is honestly, I'm getting a little tired of it every day with these
Yeah,
people like
it's
reading
getting it's
into
getting
it's
tired.
it's not it's not funny for me anymore. Like I just scroll past it. I kind of roll my eyes and scroll past it. If people are enjoying it, people are enjoying it, to each their own, but I'm personally not. But Diana Rossini came out today and said the best offer for JJ Watt is in the 15 to 16 million dollar range. And the people
Mhm.
immediately said, "Nope, he's unattainable. We don't want to pay him that. Bye bye JJ." But at the same time, That was the best offer. It didn't say what team gave that best offer. It didn't
Right.
say the Tennessee Titans gave that offer. It didn't say the Green Bay Packers gave that offer. It didn't say the Buffalo Bills gave that offer. It said a
Mhm.
team. More likely, it's probably like the Cleveland Browns or something giving that
Right.
offer. And you'd think that the agent would want to leak those numbers to try to maybe get some of the other teams that he actually wants to go to pony up a little bit. But
Yep.
then Pat McAfee on the Pat McAfee show today was like, texted JJ Watt, and JJ Watt's like, no, we don't talk to nobody, dude. I don't know how much I'm buying that. I think JJ was lying to Pat McAfee there on the Pat McAfee show, but who knows? Either way, either way, I think still JJ Watt will probably be attainable in the 12 to $13 million range.
Yeah, and I think it all will come down to too is like a lot of the other things that go into these contracts, right? Is he going to get a 2 year if he gets a 2 year deal for let's say 22, 24 million dollars and someone fully guarantees that deal, let's just make it simple. He's probably more likely to take that than like a 2 year, you know, $28 million deal where maybe only like 15 of it's guaranteed. Like there we don't know until we see the structure of these contracts like what really is the best, what really is the best deal for him, right? I mean, it's kind of like when you're buying a house and you kind of look at the price of the house and you're like, "Oh, wow, that house is really expensive, but it's got all these updates inside of it," right? And you're like,
Mm-hmm.
"Okay, well, I'm kind of willing to go more for that." So that's kind of like where I come out with him is like, what is he going to take? That's obviously important. Money is important, but also the situation for him to kind of, try to
Mm-hmm.
ride off into the sunset, if you will. TDZ Fantasy Football Fixes. I do like that we're in the mix for JJ. Makes us look serious. I ultimately would rather pay someone like Carl Lawson. Um,
I'm not interested in Carl Lawson, to be honest with
I'm
you.
not either, honestly. I'd rather have JJ on a shorter term deal
Mm-hmm.
and then see what I can do in the future once like the cap goes back to normal and then, with the draft and all that. I'd rather kind of groom my own, if you will, and
Mm-hmm.
just kind of have JJ here for the short term.
Yeah.
I'm not into kind of putting big money down over
Mm-hmm.
multiple years for Carl Lawson personally.
Yeah, yeah. There's a bunch of things that play into this. First of all, yeah, you're going to have to give Carl Lawson a ton of term. Second, he's only been a rotational player there in Cincinnati. Plus, he's an edge only player. He's very much a pass rusher, kind of in the Jerry Hughes mold. What I'm looking for is I'm looking for a power player on this defensive line. So whether it is Gerald Casey, whether it is, did I say his name wrong again? Or
It's Jarrell Casey with a
Jarrell
J.
Casey,
Yeah.
or JJ Watt or someone of that nature. I'm looking for a guy who can come in here and play a little end, play a little tackle, and who's been around the block and can show guys like AJ Epinesa and Oliver, what is what. So those are the things that I'm looking for if I'm dipping into the free agent pool. Plus the fact that
Mhm.
he's older means the term is less. So that's another, big deal for the JJ Watt. Ryan Thie, is it Thie?
Thiel.
Thiel, Thiel,
Say it like Adam Thielen. So Thiel.
just without the
Like,
in. Okay.
yeah, okay, okay.
All right.
Well,
Well,
I'm
we'll
sorry,
retry that,
Ryan.
Ryan.
I mean, it did take you a while to correct us, but I appreciate that you did correct us because we want to say your name properly. At least, like most people have like their avatar names right in
Mhm.
here. Like we've got Randy Hardman, who we know is that's his porn name, I believe. And obviously others,
Uh,
but yeah, we'll say it properly from now on. Don't
yeah,
worry.
and Randy put out a comment here. He says PFF's cut list today had several guys that could be intriguing. Watt isn't the only game in town for free agency. He's 100% right. I didn't happen to see that article yet today. I'm going to go check it out. But like back to the point at the top of my show, like if you wait out the first week of free agency, first 2 weeks of free agency, I still think you're going to get like players who can have a really positive impact on the football game for 1/4 of the price. Like
Right.
I'm at this point convinced that Brandon Bean is going to, like, a lot of people are going to be really upset on the first. This is my prediction. A lot of people are going to be really upset on like the first day, 2 days of free agency. People are going to be storming the gate at One Bills Drive, wanting the Buffalo Bills to make a move because this team is so hungry. This team is so hungry. We are one game away from the Super Bowl. They're so hungry for this. They want that one player that's going to put us over the top. And I think that we're going to have to wait for that player. I don't know if it's going to come in the first week of free agency. So if
Well, let me
nothing
ask you
happens
this.
right away, just remember Frank Gore. Remember Frank Gore.
Let me ask you this. If they don't go for JJ Watt, do you think they even bring in a bargain bin edge? in free agency?
I think it'd be more likely they restructure Mario Addison and draft a guy.
Yeah,
And
that's what I think too.
I think if JJ Watt doesn't come in, that they will make a play for another defensive tackle into that rotation because like Ed Oliver is obviously a young up and coming player and Star Lotulelei is coming back, but Star Lotulelei is not going to solve every single problem. Harrison Phillips now going to be 2 years removed from injury, and then it's probably Justin Zimmer. So unless we restructure Quentin Jefferson or restructure Vernon Butler, those two guys are probably likely gone, in my opinion. I think it'd be hard for the Buffalo Bills to keep them, but I still think they
Mhm.
could. As was mentioned up top, we can free up 40-50 million without cutting anybody. Brandon Beane can keep that whole defensive line intact and have another go around in 2021 with Star Lotulelei. But I think that there will be too many talented players along the defensive line, too many talented veteran proven players, not to bring in at least one guy to come in there
Mhm.
and add to that rotation, especially since I think one of, if not both, Jefferson and Butler will be gone.
Yeah. And it's pretty much like a horse apiece for those two guys. I mean, it's basically
Mhm.
the 7 to 8 million. Dead cap's about the same for them. I think it's like 1 million for
Yeah.
Butler and 1.5 for Jefferson or something like that. So um, you could do
Mhm.
both, honestly. I mean,
Yeah.
you could.
Yeah. And the question is, do we want to keep them intact? No, no, we don't. And Randy mentions that the numbers don't drastically
It
change
was
when
a
Star
swing
is
and a miss.
healthy.
I mean, that's all there is to it. Like,
Now,
we
yeah,
could we
I
could
mean,
say it. We can say it.
the run defense has been average the last 2 years, whether Star's been here or he hasn't been here. But I think the point that's been made was that Ed Oliver really suffered this year because Ed Oliver was playing on a position. So it wasn't so much Star being gone; it was the type of player Star was that was gone because it wasn't freeing up guys like Quentin Jefferson and Ed Oliver to do what Quentin Jefferson and Ed Oliver do. Because I think I mentioned this on the last podcast. Like Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott brought Quentin Jefferson and Vernon Butler in here for a reason. And I think when Star Lotulelei opted out, things changed. Things changed, and I think that um, I think that maybe Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott could be interested with Star Lotulelei, that type of player coming back, seeing if maybe what they thought Quentin Jefferson and Vernon Butler could be could come to fruition in 2021. If they can make it work, I could easily see that being the case.
Yeah, and Mr. Wick Ono says, if not JJ, who do we get? I mean, like you said, we probably just
Hmm.
restructure Addison and then maybe go after someone in the draft. I mean, there are bargain bin edge guys you can bring in, but like,
Hmm.
what are you really doing there? Like, if the room's already crowded and you actually don't get rid of anyone, the only guy that's really technically gone, if you don't get rid of any of these guys, is Trent Murphy,
Hmm.
and he was inactive for basically half the season. So Kendall says Daryl Johnson can get an increased role next
There's
season. I would like to see that.
always something to
Mike,
be said about development.
yep. And like you mentioned before, we still have guys like Brian Cox
Mhm.
Jr. and Mike Love floating around the practice squad.
And then
So
we had a comment from Randy. Regardless of star, we need a real run plugger, run stuff in one tech. I don't disagree with you, but I don't know if the coaching staff agrees. Like
right.
I really don't know if the coaching staff agrees with you in that sentiment that we would need one. So uh one more topic before we bring on our first guest to do a mock draft. I don't think we're gonna be able to do a mock draft.
No, that's okay. That's okay. We'll
uh
uh
so
we'll we'll skip
so
ours for this
So we will
one.
bring on our special guest, but there's one more topic I wanted to get to because I got a beef with the guys over at New York Upstate because they are playing with my emotions right now. Matt Perino and Ryan Talbot are really playing with my emotions right now. They did a podcast earlier in the week where they talked about how there were some rumblings within One Bills Drive that the Buffalo Bills weren't content with CB2, that the Buffalo Bills really wanted it to update to upgrade their cornerback number 2 position. And Matt Perino went as far as to throw out Shaquille Griffin from the Seattle Seahawks as a
I
name they
mentioned that
might.
name. I
Yeah,
mentioned that name.
you mentioned it too. But like to me, when you mentioned it, when Matt mentioned it, it was just like, no, like we're not gonna
I mean,
do
we
that.
shouldn't. We
Yeah, we
shouldn't.
shouldn't. But like it could very well be like if those rumblings that they're hearing, because like no offense, they're more connected than we are to One Bills Drive. They got a press pass. They have inside sources. If they are correct and the Buffalo Bills really do want to update that CB2, that's what made me start going cornerback round one in my mock. That's what made me
Mhm.
start looking at these round one corners a lot more closely. And then he and you have thrown out that name Shaq Griffin before, but it's just like I was just like perplexed. I'm like, okay, maybe they could do it. Maybe this team thinks secondary first, defensive line second. But then the very next day on Pro Football Focus, Brandon Beane says that Dane Jackson is like the sleeper stud of this defense
It's
to Richard Sherman.
misdirection.
so,
Misdirection,
so
man.
Brandon,
It's
Brandon
misdirection.
Beane and New York Upstate are just causing me to just have massive spikes
Well,
in terms of my mock off seasons and my mock drafts. They're killing me,
well,
Smalls. They're killing me.
well, I think part of this too is they probably thought for Josh Norman's $6 million, they were going to get a legitimate CB2 last year. And that didn't really pan out. Let's be real. That didn't pan out either. So the defensive line signings and Josh Norman really didn't pan out. So I understand why he's talking up Dane Jackson, Brandon Beane, that is, because he played pretty well in the spots that he got to play, and they drafted him. And so with Norman obviously gone, they're going to try to, you know, either misdirect or kind of talk up the guys that they do have in the room, because it wouldn't really be in their best interest to say, you know what, we don't really think Dane Jackson's a realistic option, because that pretty much clues you in that would go after a corner in free agency or the draft. So why would Bean give that information out? So I kind of understand from a GM's perspective why he would say that.
Yeah, and we got Joshua Richardson coming in with a suggestion for one Bills drive. He says, get rid of all the old veterans. Let's trade for Danielle Hunter from the Vikings, sign Gerald Casey, release John Brown, sign, I assume that means Darrell Williams and John Ross. Listen, like that is an offseason, that's not completely unrealistic.
Right.
I would say like Minnesota looks like it could be tearing things down. I don't know if you've heard rumblings that Danielle Hunter's on the block. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. Even if it's not Danielle Hunter, going out and finding a big name free agent, guy on the defensive line and signing Jarrell Casey and releasing John Brown and releasing guys like Quentin Jefferson and Lee Smith and all those guys, that's a real possibility. The Buffalo Bills could do that. But when they're doing that, they're hedging a lot of bets on their development. You're talking about Dane Jackson being your CB2, platooning with either Levi Wallace or a rookie. You're talking about Tyrell Dodson being your starting weak side linebacker with possibly a guy you draft. You're talking about Ike Butker and Cody Ford being your guards with possibly a guy you draft. So there are risks you are taking. You're one Stephon Diggs away, injury away from John Ross being your like number 2 wide receiver. So at least your number 2 boundary receiver. So there are risks that you're taking when you do this. But if everybody stays healthy and your team develops their players correctly, that could be recipe for success, because those 1 or 2 big name players that you went and you chased could be like what Tyrann Mathieu did for the Kansas City Chiefs. Like those, you see plenty of examples in this league of veteran players who come in and give that team the one shot in the arm they need to put themselves over the top. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that they do something like this. I just question whether the Bills would be willing to risk it for that biscuit.
I mean, JPP is another guy on Tampa. Same. I mean, granted, he's been there for a couple of years, but I mean, JPP on Tampa, Tyrann Mathieu on Kansas City. Like, these are guys that like were good players, really good players before they went to those teams, but they took those teams and kind of got them over the top. So, Ryan says, I think only 4 players who were here before McDermott. I know Dawkins, obviously.
No, Dawkins was drafted by McDermott.
Was
Hughes,
I thought
Ferguson.
Dawkins was a Rex Ryan era. Was he
No,
not?
no, he was the first McDermott draft. It's
Hmm.
Ferguson, it's Hughes, and I think that might be it now. I don't even think it's 4 anymore. I think it just might be those 2. So yeah, we might
That's
even be down
wild.
to 2 now.
That's wild.
I mean, that roster
Okay,
was really
so
bad when he got it. So
yeah, you're right. He was their second round pick that year, that 2017 draft. Yeah, I was
but
thinking.
what
You
are
know,
your
who I
what are
was
your
thinking of. I was thinking of. I was thinking of John Miller.
yeah
That's who I was thinking of.
before we bring our first guest on, here's my question to you. Dane Jackson as CB2 starting next year, and the Buffalo Bills sign JJ Watt,
Mhm.
or Shaq Griffin at CB2 next year, and the Buffalo Bills roll the dice on a highly drafted edge player, or just go with what they got. And Matt Milano's out of the equation too, so we're still talking Tyrell Dodson.
I would probably go with JJ Watt and Dane Jackson as CB2.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
me. I think an
I
edge is going to make more of an immediate edge impact is going to have more of an impact for us than a Shaquille Griffin. And then I mean, let's face it. If we draft defensive line with our first pick this year, that's 3 years in a row we've spent our first draft pick, not first round because we didn't have it last year, but first draft pick on defensive line. Are we going to go
Yeah.
to the well 3 times in a row? I don't know.
Yeah, and not to mention, I look at the teams in the Super Bowl last year, Kansas City and Tampa, and our secondary, even now, as it stands, is better than both of those secondaries. Like Kansas
Mhm.
City's got that rookie in Snead who did really well, and they had Daniel Sorensen, who was a bargain bin guy who they developed, and Tyrann Mathieu, who they brought in, and then it was like Bashad Breelands and the Feltons of the world. It wasn't a crazy secondary, and everyone in Tampa Bay secondary was like a second or third round draft pick. Antoine Winfield hit. They had Bunting who hit, Whitehead. All those guys were second, third round picks. So it's not exactly
Mhm.
like the Buffalo Bills are miles behind those two teams in terms of secondary. So yeah, I'm with you, I believe, as well. So we're going to bring on our first guest now, and Dave's going to pull up the mock draft machine as we do this as well. And we're going to welcome on our first guest to the show, host of the 585 Report, Buffalo Fanatics writer, Ryan Sullivan. How you doing tonight, Ryan?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
We're just living the dream. I see you've already updated some of that equipment there. Got those big headphones now. You're a podcast man.
It was the first ones I could find on Amazon for under $30.
Talk a little bit before we start mock drafting, because we're going to start our mock Draft-A-Palooza right now. Talk a little bit about what you and Mitch are doing on Saturdays here at the Buffalo Fanatics.
So the goal of our podcast is to kind of be a more in-depth podcast going into really anything. Today we just recorded our third episode, and we went basically player by player, going through who can be restructure, who can went through the free agents, who to resign, who to cut, stuff like that. So we hope to be something that maybe goes a little bit deeper than you might find on sports radio or stuff like that. So we drop every Saturday around 2 p.m. and we're under the Buffalo Fanatics channel right now. So we hope you can check us out. You can find us on Twitter at 585 Report and on Instagram at the same tag.
Yeah, I will say this: having listened to 2 episodes now, you can tell that you two guys are writers with the thorough research that you guys both put into your podcast. And I feel a hell of a lot smarter after listening too. So if you want to be smarter, listen to the 585 Report every Saturday here on the Buffalo Fanatics. All right. Are we ready to get things rolling here, Dave? All right.
We are ready.
Let's
zoom in a little bit more.
Can we zoom in a little bit more here? Before we get into your mock draft here, Ryan, my first question to you is this. What is your philosophy heading into this draft? What are you looking to do? Paint a picture for us.
I would like to try to trade back in the first round if there's a suitor willing to give up a top 100 pick. Mm-hmm. I'd like to attack offensive line, defensive line, and I want to find a hybrid secondary player, whether that's like a cornerback, a big cornerback that we could push inside, whether that's a box safety that can play big nickel. But I want to find someone, a different type of player that this team doesn't have yet.
All right.
Love it. All right. So let's get this rolling, Ryan. This is your show. So we're going to start, and I'll prompt you on what the trade offers are as they come in. But we're running through the TDN mock draft machine, which is our preferred, I guess I'll say, mock draft machine. Love the guys over there. Joe Marino does a good job, along with all the other guys.
The other mock draft machines suck. The PFF one is not realistic.
All right, we're getting the first trade offer. So Ryan, there's an actual offer here from the Eagles. They're offering their second rounder and a 6th rounder this year for our first. So that doesn't get you that extra top 100 pick that you're looking for. What do you want to do with this?
Is that the only offer?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's usually little circles.
Yeah. Then no. Yeah, decline that. I don't like that.
All right, so you're on the clock, and can you see the board? I
can. Not really.
All
right, so
look at the top of that board. Vera Tucker.
On the top of the board, you got Elijah Vera Tucker.
Oh, that's Vera Tucker?
Yeah.
Oh, Vera Tucker. Go Vera Tucker. I don't think that's even close. Yeah, Vera Tucker.
Okay, he said he wanted to attack the lines, and he's going to attack the lines. He's going with Elijah Vera Tucker with the first pick. Probably going to could be plug and play starting right guard day 1. So that's a nice pick there. You got another offer from the Giants.
Is that the trade up?
Yeah, it's the trade up.
Yeah, don't do that.
What are you giving up? What are you giving up? Because it looks like a 6 to me.
No, it's a 5th. It's actually 2 fifths. Both fifths.
Oh.
Both fifths. We're gonna decline.
Pass.
Okay.
Pass.
All right.
I would have taken it, to be honest with you. Give myself another
right.
highly rated player.
Similar offer from Jacksonville. Both fifths to move up to the pick 45. What do you want to do with that, Ryan?
I don't want to give up all that many picks. I think there's going to be someone there at 60.
All right, we'll decline that. It's coming up here.
I mean, if Vera Tucker was there at 30.
All right. This one's a little bit better. You're moving up 7 spots to pick 54, and you're giving up the 6th round pick this year, and obviously the 2nd. So do you want to see who's on the board?
Yeah, who's on the board? Who do we have?
All right. So what we've got is I figured how to do this the other day. You got Javonte Williams on the board, Richie Grant, Trevon Moehrig, who was the Jim Thorpe winner, Creed Humphrey, Len Dickerson. You already kind of went O-line. You got Dylan Moses on the board, Steve's guy, Javon Holland, Chaz Surratt.
I'm actually starting to lean Richie now. I'm starting to lean Richie.
Carlos Basham is on the board, Richie Grant. So what would you like to do here?
Let's get the 60. Let's see if Basham falls to 60.
All right, we're going to resume.
Risking it.
All right, you're getting an offer to move up 4 spots to give up a 7th rounder.
Now let's keep going. We've gone this far. Go to 60.
All right, we're going. All right, we're getting another offer. We're just gonna
trade back.
This is an offer to move back. It's for a 2022 7th. Nah, we'll go ahead and decline that.
Oakland.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Nope. Again, not in the top 100. Yeah, we're gonna decline that one. All right. You are on the clock.
Do we got Basham?
Basham is available. Is that who you want?
Yeah, I want Basham. I like Basham.
So much size right now. Loving it.
I love this draft so far. You said you wanted to attack the trenches, and you are. Both sides of the ball have been covered with your first 2 picks. Okay. Wow. So the Falcons are offering you their 3rd rounder to move up. It looks like about 25 spots, and their 5th rounder for you to give up your 3rd, 5th, and 7th. It's kind of a lot. What do you want?
That's a lot of picks now. We don't need to move up that far.
All right. So
but before we get to like the next pick here, I just want to say so far, Vera Tucker is a starting right guard. And what I love about Carlos Basham is I think Carlos Basham can be a plug and play starting left end from day one because he's that sort of power player. And you're going to have Jerry Hughes on one side. You're going to have Carlos Basham on the other side. And then you're going to have AJ Epinesa, who can sort of slide back and forth. And you can sort of go with maybe a 3-man rotation as opposed to a 4-man rotation and really get the most out of, I think, those 4 defensive ends, especially if we do what I think you're going to do here and add a big old beefy boy here in the 3rd round. But I could be wrong.
Is our man still here? All
right. So you're getting another offer to move up or to move back. I don't know that you want to do this, but it's basically you giving up a 5th. You're giving up a 5th, or you're getting a 5th, and you're giving up a 7th to move back about 11 spots.
It was Elijah Vera Tucker, John. So we went with the guard from USC.
Is our man still here? Our man from LSU still here?
Who are you looking for?
Shelvin.
Yeah, he's there.
We got to go Shelvin. I can't do a mock draft without Shelvin. I think that's a guy that. The guy that changes. I think that changes the whole line. Yeah,
this changes the entire dynamic of both of our lines right now. Like literally, our defensive line has added a huge gap guy who can free up Ed Oliver and Jerry Hughes, and to make Tremaine Edmonds better in front of him. And on top of that, we've added a starting right guard on our offensive line who's going to be here for a freaking decade. Like this draft would be ridiculous. Like I know people love skill position, but this is the draft that would really get my rocks off. If you know what I'm talking about, people. You know what I'm talking about?
I love it. I mean, and I like that. What I like about this is Ryan is stuck to his guns. He said he wanted to attack the lines, and he's done that with all 3 picks so far.
5th round. You think you can find a hybrid player in the 5th round?
Is Reed Blankenship still kicking around?
See, he's not a hybrid player though. He's a center field free safety.
He can play I think he can be a 3rd safety though. If you play 3 safety.
No, yeah, I agree. There's a name I want to throw out to you. A name the Buffalo Bills have talked to. He's ranked 296 on TDN, but I think he's going to go higher than this. I think the Bills have their sights on this player, Jacoby Stevens from LSU. Have you had a chance to look at Jacoby Stevens yet?
I know. I've watched a little bit of him. I know he's ranked pretty low. If we end up attacking, I don't think he's a guy that maybe produces right away. I think there's some other guys
Ooh,
that I'd
Chuba.
like.
Is it our pick now?
Yep.
Yeah, it's your pick. The board, you've got Chuba Hubbard, you got Javian Hawkins, who's another player a lot of people like from Louisville, the running back. You got Shai Smith, who Randy obviously loves.
This is the 5th round,
Shaka
right?
Toney. Yep. This is the 5th round, pick 162. Reed Blankenship's there. So is Divine Deblo, who is another guy, another safety people like.
What linebacker do we? What
Diablo's a
linebackers are
monster,
there?
dude. He's very raw, but Diablo's a monster. Garrett Wallow is everybody's favorite linebacker.
I like Garrett Wallow. I like Garrett.
What do they have him ranked at now?
You could probably get him at
247.
You could probably get him at 175 because he's 4 linebackers down. That is one thing I will say. You could probably get him at 175.
So let's go.
Reed Blankenship. I'm gonna go Reed Blankenship.
Ooh. I've heard
right.
some rumblings from Draft Diamonds that on March 1st he could declare he's going back to school, and if he does, my heart will be broken.
All right, pick 175 coming up.
We got to go check in on your boy.
Is Wallow still there?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yep, I like Wallow. Converted safety, kind of like Matt Milano, a guy. I think if you go and watch some of his clips, I think he's a guy who's going to become a fan favorite pretty quickly. He runs pretty hot, and I think he's a guy who's got a lot of upside.
You want to take him here? You guarantee you get him, or what do you?
Yeah, let's take him here. Let's take him here.
You in the 3rd or in the 6th.
All right. Defensive heavy draft other than the first pick. I like it. All right, so we're moving along here. Let me pull up the main board. And so I think what we're going to do is for all the guests, we're going to post their mock drafts online and get a poll on who people
I'm going to
like.
I'm going to be spending 45 minutes tonight trying to make a graphic that looks like a 3-year-old did it. And it's going to be like all the effort I could have possibly put into making a graphic. And people are going to be like, did you have like a little kid make this? And I'm going to be like, yeah, I did.
Yeah, Ryan's right. We know this will change after free agency. Plus, is everyone supposed to come back from COVID? So I know part of what we probably should be talking about while we're doing these is like some assumptions we make when we're doing these drafts as far as what we think could happen in free agency to kind of justify some of the draft picks. So like I would venture to guess that with Ryan's mock here that we basically like John Feliciano is likely not back in the mix if we make this pick. Would be my assumption. And maybe JJ Watt. I don't know. Maybe
we signed a linebacker.
Even if JJ Watt is signed, maybe we signed a linebacker, but maybe even if JJ Watt is signed, maybe we would still go after Basham in the 2nd round as a longer term option. I don't know. All right. So you're up on the clock again now, Ryan. Pick 214. Any particular? Ooh, Jalen Darden's available. I'm a big fan.
Oh, give me Darden. Give me speed, Darden. Give me speed.
Oh boy, going with Darden.
He's like what? They got him mocked at like a 4.3, right? Something like that.
They were the newest Buffalo Fanatics podcast dropped this morning. The Ending the Drought podcast. 3 great guys from Springville talking Bills, and one of the things they talked about this morning was it's time for the Buffalo Bills to like quit it with all of the specialty players in their wide receiving core.
Yeah.
Andre Roberts returns kicks. Isaiah McKenzie is the jet sweep guy. You got to, at some point, you got to start finding players who can do more than one thing and can sort of help your football team in more than one way, because there's a guy like Isaiah Hodgins that I really want to fit on this football team. So if Jalen Darden could come in and do the jet sweeps and return the kicks, that's up a roster spot for Isaiah Hodgins.
Yeah, we talked about that today too, trying to find someone that can make Isaiah McKenzie and Andre Roberts one person.
All right, Ryan, this is your last pick. I've liked your draft so far. Who do you want to round out the Bills draft with here?
Are there any cornerbacks? What cornerbacks do we got?
Rochelle's available. I like him. I know Marco Wilson. People like him. I'm not as high on him. I don't know, all of these guys I don't recognize. I haven't looked into.
Yeah.
Antonio Phillips on the board. My boy from Ball State.
Yeah, he's there.
Oh,
ranked
way down.
409.
We'll go on draft free agency.
Disrespecting the MAC.
What would you like here?
I'm not.
What about? Oh, sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
What tight end? Have you thought
Yeah,
about?
what tight ends are there? That's a good question.
Not
I like Bushman. Don't get me wrong. I like Luke Farrell as a blocker, but I don't know if I really.
Luke Farrell could be like the new Lee Smith if you wanted to get him.
Is Pro Wells isn't there? He probably didn't fall, did he?
Who?
Pro Wells, the tight end from TCU.
No.
Oh,
No.
darn. What running backs are there?
Let me just make sure. Who else is gone?
Yeah, he's gone.
Running backs. Rakeem Boyd. He was a early favorite for people. CJ
Ooh.
Maribel. Steve likes him.
My boy CJ.
Oh, wait, Maribel's there? Let's go Maribel. I like Maribel.
Would you look at
Okay.
that? What I like about CJ Maribel is I honestly think you could place him on the practice squad and you wouldn't have much of a like he can come in, he can compete with Antonio Williams and may the best man win. Obviously, different skill sets. Like if Jalen Darden makes the football team, it probably makes a guy like Maribel go to the practice squad, vice versa. So
Steve,
yeah,
I'm
I
going
like
to
that.
pause this. I'm going to pause this right here. Do you need to take these names down or do you got it?
Oh, I got these names. Don't you worry.
Okay. I like this. You were going really heavy defense early and ended up rounding it out, being pretty balanced. Went 3 offense, 4 defense. Here are the picks again. So
Well, I would
recap. We got Vera Tucker with the first pick, Basham, then Shelvin, Blankenship, Wallow, Darden, and Maribel. I really like this draft, actually. If it's the early favorite, considering it's been the only one so far. All right, that's it. There we
Ryan,
go.
any final thoughts before you head out here?
You know, I'd like day 3 as a chance. You know, I don't think we need to spend super high picks on wide receivers, and I think day 3 is a great chance to take a swing on projects. I think day 3 is for projects, and I think that's a real fun opportunity for this offense.
I'm digging a lot of the skill position players at the bottom of this draft, and I'm not digging the big fatties at the bottom of this draft. Like I haven't found like a big fatty that I loved at the end of this draft yet. Like usually I'll find one. Like a couple of years ago, I loved Cortez Broughton, who ended up in Arizona and is carving out a nice little career. Like there's usually 1 or 2 guys I can find late. This year I'm just struggling. Like last year I had like 10 offensive tackles I wanted to draft in like the 6th round, and you know, this year I'm just like, who is this guy?
James this year is my guy late that I like. As far as
So Ryan, thank you so much. Check
Thank
out
you.
the 585 report every Saturday on the Buffalo Fanatics Podcast Network. Mitch and Ryan do a great job. Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah, have a good one.
Thanks, Ryan.
All right.
All right, we're
And
loading
now-
up again.
Now on the hot seat, BF writer. You've seen him plenty of times in the BF writers room in the Buffalo Fanatics pregame show. Zach Vaughn, how you doing today, Zach?
I'm doing excellent. How are you guys?
Not too bad. We got one of the 2 BF spies in the show tonight to run a mock draft simulation. And the reason why I asked you to be on here is because you are Mr. Mock Draft on the Twitter machine. You love to run yourself some mock drafts, don't you?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I finally splurged a little and got the premium on the Draft Network. So I've been having a lot of fun trading around the draft board, seeing what happens. Little science experiment, let's say.
Okay, so let me ask you this, Zach. Then you've done like all these different scenarios, and like you've done a lot of mock drafts. What is your personal preference or philosophy when you come into the draft, and like your favorite way to attack these mock drafts?
Well, I would say, given the Bills picking at 30, it's really not a glamorous pick. You're going to be, as a fan, you're going to be waiting all night to possibly see them and then maybe not even see them at all. I would be totally happy with that. But obviously, you know, you want to look at the board first, see who's available. And if there isn't somebody who really shouldn't have already been there, then just trade down, get some more picks, maybe pick up a 4th rounder.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to fire this thing up and we're going to let you kind of do your thing.
Maybe this simulator will give you better luck, because I think the best offer Ryan got for pick 30 was a 2nd rounder and a 6th round pick.
Oh,
Sometimes it's friendly, sometimes it's not. Dave, remember a couple weeks ago we got like 15 trade offers in the 1st round?
Yeah, we got. I mean, here's another one. The Raiders
Dude,
want your first, 3rd. Yeah, I'm assuming since you're kind of team trade down, that anything to trade up will probably just decline.
Is there any player?
Exactly.
Is there any player on the board, Zach, that you would consider trading up into like the 20 range for like a 1st, a 3rd, and a 5th?
No. I just don't think the Bills have the draft capital to even entertain trading up.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Hello.
Ooh.
Okay, here's a trade down with good old the new GM in Denver. What's his name? Paxton.
Yeah.
I think.
I think it's like
So Denver's offering
George Patton.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
Denver's offering you their 2nd, 4th, and 2 7ths Oh, for your
Wait,
first and fifth. I don't know. That doesn't seem very good to me.
I would
I
say
feel
maybe
like-
try to counter. Maybe if we could take the 7th and the 5th off. I don't know, something like that. Because
You've got the counter board up here. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking maybe like
Because
take
40
the
is a nice
5th.
spot. Like honestly,
Yeah,
40 is
40.
a good night.
40 is a nice spot. That's why I would say maybe take the 5th off of the Bills end, and then take the 7th off of Denver's end. Actually, I think one of those 7ths is a future 7th or something.
No, they're both.
Oh, they were both.
They're both.
Oh,
Yeah.
never mind.
They're actually the
Still offer acceptance is still very likely.
Maybe
Yeah.
you want to try to
So-
sneak a fifth in there instead of the 7th.
Oh yeah, but I guess the other thing is too. I kind of noticed this. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe there's. Oh, okay, never mind. I thought it was like a glitch or something.
Maybe just one
because-
7th. 1 7th.
Yeah, maybe
Well,
1
they're-
7th.
They're willing to do 2 7ths, the 4th and the
No.
2nd. So you got it over here. The
No.
first or the 2nd, 4th, and 2 7ths.
I mean, if they're willing to do
We just
2
took the 5th round
7ths,
pick away, and they were just okay with it.
that's why I'm wondering
Yes.
if there's a glitch in the system or something. But if they're willing
I
to give
think-
up 2
no,
7s, go for it.
Well, I think what they're doing, they're trying to rip you off first, and then you have to come back and counter and see what you can take away, and they'll still do it.
Let's get wild in the
Honestly,
back half
if
of
it
this
was
draft.
me, I would do something like this. I would take out all of these and see if they would be willing to. Nope. But maybe
Add
you
your
threw in
fifth
one
back.
of your fifths.
No.
Maybe the 4th.
Add both
and
your
the
5ths.
5th?
Get crazy.
Oh, I wouldn't want to do that. I have a couple of people I like in the 5th round. That
Okay.
I know. But, that's a
But
lot.
again-
All right. So what do you want to do, Zach? This is your board. You pick
Yeah.
what you want to do. You want to go back to the
Maybe-
original, which was this.
Yeah. Let's get a little nuts. Keep the 5th off, and just do the 2nd, 4th, and 2 7ths for the 1.
All right, we're
They
going.
want to screw us. We're going to screw them.
All right, here we go. And they accepted.
Woo.
Okay, so we're moving down 10 spots.
Look at this capital. We're gonna get crazy in the back half of this.
There we go. All right, so we're going to pick 40. We'll probably get an offer for pick 40, which we did.
I
wow,
want to see the
okay.
draft board first.
All
Because
right,
I thought
so
I saw
the
someone that I didn't expect to be there at 40.
Saints are offering their 2nd, 3rd, and 6th for this pick to move
But
down
that's quite
20
the drop.
spots. I'll show you who's on the board. This is who's on. Ooh, Zaven Collins is still on the board.
That's who I thought. That's who I thought.
I think you
I'm just
resume
taking-
this draft and take Zaven Collins.
Yeah, I'm taking Zaven Collins. I did not expect him to fall to 40.
All right,
Yeah.
let's do it.
Before we get to the next pick, though, question for you, Zach, from Andrew Miller. He says the only person he'd trade up for, like the Saints, is for Ricky, for the Saints for Ricky. I assume he means Ricky Williams here. Is
Yeah.
Micah Parsons? If Micah Parsons is sitting there in the 15th, is sitting there in the teens, is Micah Parsons a guy you'd be willing to trade your 1st, your 3rd, and a 5th for?
Well, considering you could get Zaven Collins possibly in the 20s, I would say no. I mean,
Okay.
I will say I also don't know enough about Micah Parsons to really formulate an opinion about him. I just know enough about some of the other guys where I know I don't want to trade off.
Yeah.
All right, Zach, you're back on the clock now. I declined a couple of trades while you're talking. They were mostly to move up, so I didn't think you were going to take any of them just to move things along here.
Chaz.
Yeah.
But this is who is on the board right now.
Okay. Well, we already took care of linebackers, so it's a no on Chaz and Dylan Moses.
Mhm. And Zach, if you're having trouble seeing the board too, you can full screen it in the lower right hand corner. It's a lot easier to see when it's full screen.
You scroll down a little.
Yep.
Just wanna.
Got Boogie there, Dio.
Brevin Jordan. Why is he so far down? Did they really drop him that far in their rankings?
Yeah, Marlon Williams from Syracuse on the board. I really
Yeah,
like
I
the
know.
shot if I was 34 defense.
I will say that I did say this kind of in the BF chat earlier, but I'm surprised that there are 3 Syracuse DBs that could very well go day 2. That it's just like I've never thought I'd ever see that. And also the fact that 2 of them are basically the same kind of build that McDermott likes in corners.
All right, Zach, who are you going with here?
I think I will also go with Basham.
Okay,
All right.
I like it.
There's
Popular
something about
selection
him
in round
that,
2. He's good, and I mean,
Yeah.
he played on a crappy ACC team. Well, I should take that back. Wake's been better lately, but they're still not that great. Okay, so they want. Do you want to move up 20 spots and give up a 5th rounder?
I'm gonna decline this one mostly because
You love those fifths, man.
hey, there are some good guys in the 4th,
I
5th,
agree.
6th round
I agree.
that I like am starting to really
I
kind
don't
of fall
disagree.
for.
I do not disagree.
I like a lot of guys coming up right here if they don't get picked.
Mm.
All right.
All right.
This is an offer to move down, so it's a 4th and a 7th to move up.
No.
Yeah, that you're moving down.
We have our 7s. We're good with that.
Okay. All right, you're on the board. Here we go. So you got
First and third.
man,
for
Jackson
TJ
Carman.
Oh god.
Jackson Carman, Kenny Gainwell.
Oh. Okay.
McNeil, Shelvin. Man, there's a lot of guys I like right here.
Oh boy. Now, I will say I did not see one of those names before, and now it's making it really difficult for me. Because okay, let's see. So I took linebacker and edge rusher.
Yep.
Probably should get an offensive lineman at some point. So I think as much as I want to take Kenny Gainwell, because he has that versatility, running back, receiver, brings the speed, add another dimension, I think I have to go with Spencer Brown, offensive tackle.
I like it.
Okay. We know Steve likes Spencer Brown, and we
I
know
would have
Casey
taken.
really likes Steve.
I would have taken Jackson Carman over Spencer Brown.
I would have too. I would have taken Carman to play. Like, he's going to play guard in the NFL, I think. But man, that dude is
I think he's gonna be a good
massive individual.
I'll tell you, I would have taken Miners if he was in the frickin' draft machine. I mean,
do you? This includes a 2022. Do we just want to decline this?
Yeah, decline it.
Right.
We're not interested in future picks.
Get out of here.
Ooh, Steve's guy
Aaron
Aaron Banks is on the board.
And Mukuamu.
Ooh,
And
Randy's guy.
Griffin
Luka
made a huge move up their board in the last couple of days here. Griffin was a 6th rounder a couple of weeks
and
ago.
Randy's guy, Mukuamu, is available. He loves that guy. And he'll have a chance to take him when it's his turn.
Deontay Smith from East Carolina is a guy I got to do a little bit of research on because he's one of those guys in like I haven't been researching him much because he's 4th round. I know he just took a tackle, but he's a developmental guy who works in a zone scheme. I've heard some good things about him, like a really good athlete.
ECU, man, they're right down the road from me. They can surprise you. They put guys into the NFL. We already know the Zay Jones issue, but they've put guys into the NFL at a decent clip. Chris
Aaron
Johnson,
Banks
man,
pretty
ECU.
right there.
I will say there is a name that really pops out to me, and this is one of the reasons why I'm glad I was able to get a number 4 pick, 4th round pick here. Marvin Wilson, the big boy. I like him. I also like that Darrell Slayton from Florida. I've been looking at some of his film over the last couple of days.
Bobby really likes him.
I even saw some highlights from that LSU game, and he literally like threw a couple of linemen down like a rag doll, and that's the moment when I knew, okay, this guy could be a good fit for the Bills, especially because experts have him pegged as a developmental 1 tech. So and that's what they look for in the rotation. But Slayton aside, I think I'm going to go Marvin Wilson here.
Okay, I like it. And Casey Reed would be very happy with that.
Ooh, I think Randy's a little sad. He
You
wanted
what?
his boy here. Randy, don't worry, Randy. You're going to get your chance in a little bit.
Randy will get his chance, and it'll be all South Carolina draft picks. All right, so Zach, while this is going, let's recap what you got so far. You got Zaven Collins. What a steal at pick 40. Basham. Look at those first 2 picks. Love that. Spencer Brown, pick 93, and Marvin Williams. That defensive front 7 has really been shored up there.
You know what I love about Collins too? Like, obviously he needs a lot of work because he's raw, but as he develops as a player, he can give you what Matt Milano gives you. He can also give you kind of a little bit what Lorenzo Alexander gave you. Like, this is a guy who can also be a force off the edge as well. And Matt Milano was really good on those A-gap blitzes, but Zaven Collins is a guy who could probably come at you with a multitude of different ways in which you can utilize him in the blitzing game. Like, Zaven Collins, to me, like, I don't want to put this label on him, but athletically, he reminds me a lot of Khalil Mack. Athletically, he reminds me a lot of Khalil Mack. And now I'm not saying he is Khalil Mack, because I think Khalil Mack's college tape was far better than Zaven Collins. And I think they are slightly different kind of players, but just that freak athleticism for that size, it's very Tremaine Edmondsy. It's very Khalil Mackey. That's the vibe I get from Zaven Collins. So I love that dude.
I was going to kind of say that I kind of view him a bit of a Lorenzo Alexander with a bit better pass coverage.
Yeah.
And he's probably a bit more athletic than him. Again, I love Lorenzo, but I remember that New England game when he gave up the touchdown into the tight end, and that was kind of brutal. But anyways, yeah. Oh, there's that Golston from Iowa.
He's one of my top 5 favorite players in this draft. I'm just gonna put that out there right now.
He's really, he's kind of like
he's just a lunch pail dude.
Golston?
Sean McDermott loves Chauncey Golston. I can
back-to-back
right
Iowa.
He loves Iowa guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Zach, what do you like here?
Well, we already got the edge, so unfortunately, no Iowa. Let's see. Ooh, Daz Newsome, Jalen Darden. Those are. I wasn't even sure if Daz Newsome would have lasted in the 5th round because I've been doing some mocks where he goes in the 4th, so I'm a little surprised he's there.
Daz sticking out like a sore thumb to me.
I mean, he really is.
Yeah,
too.
it's just
That's a future slot. That's a future slot for Cole Beasley and a guy who can do what McKenzie does and a guy who can do what Roberts does, to me, in my opinion.
I would also say too, Darden can do all that as well. He has some experience with the kick return, not as much as Newsome, but he is very shifty. And I loved watching his tape because you knew as soon as if you leave him open, he's open. If you don't press him, he's open. It doesn't matter where he is on the field.
And compared to Schwartz, who's sitting there, Schwartz is just pure, he's got blazing speed, 4.28, but I don't think he has the shiftiness and sort of the playmaking ability that Daz Newsome and Jalen Darden have. I love Anthony Schwartz, don't get me wrong, but to me, he's a one-trick pony. It's the speed. The other two guys are more well-rounded as receivers, at least right now.
I will say this, though. Hawkins is available. I don't know much about him. I do know he had a meeting with the Bills today.
Ooh,
and I've heard he has speed.
I did not know that.
So, I mean, Daz Newsome, or do I take the speedy Hawkins and then get Darden with the next pick?
That is another possibility right there.
Because I'm pretty sure Darden will be available the next pick.
Oh, he will definitely be there.
You know what? Let's do it. I'm going Hawkins. Okay. I like Newsome, but getting the speedy running back too, and then getting the speedy receiver.
If Newsome
if he's still there, oh my god.
I mean,
I need to see your move.
Oh no,
you can move up.
You can move up.
Oh,
that's a trade back. Oh no, is it a move up?
Oh, it is.
Yeah, it's a move up to this pick for the 6th this year and a 6th next year.
Actually, why not?
And then you get another 5th round pick. You can get all your 5th round picks now.
Yeah.
And Daz is still there.
You know what? We're taking Daz Newsome then.
Oh my, what a turn of events. And you got the pick right here.
Oh my god, and I got that pick. Ooh.
This is would be every Bills fan's dream on day 5 of the draft.
Yeah. Now I will say with
Divine.
the safeties.
I
was gonna say Divine as well. I mean, I don't know much about the safeties, but what I do know is that I've heard he has that versatility where he could be safety, a dime linebacker, which is what I love about Hamza Nasir-Eldin. And I know that Stevens, the guy that
Divine is a very raw prospect. Don't get me wrong; he's more athlete than football player right now. But if you can mold him into something, like that boy is a freak athlete, 6'4", 220. He can play the nickel. He can play box safety. He can drop back and play center field. Divine can do a lot for you, but he's more athlete than football player right now.
So, Zach, I mean, you're looking at this right here. I think that even if you were going to go safety, I'd say mix it up from what Ryan did and go with Divine just to go for something different. But it's your draft, so you do what you want.
I think I'm going to have to go with Divine because, like I said, I really like those. I like the versatility. I think that's where the NFL is going. You need more versatility in your players. Like Kenny Gainwell can play running back, receiver. Nasir-Eldin can play safety, maybe play linebacker as well, something like that. And if you could get someone, even if he is a raw prospect in the 5th round, who could contribute on special teams and has good athleticism, I'm all for it.
So you've got 7 guys already. I believe you will have a 7th round pick here. Wow, you actually have 3 picks coming up right here. That's right, because you got the 2 7s from Denver, plus the 7th you
getting
already
nuts.
had. So let's try to rapid fire these really quick. Who you've got basically 3 out of the next 4 picks. Who do you like here?
Hmm.
Scroll down a little.
Oh
Darden
my
is still
gosh!
available
I
if
think
you want.
I'm sorry. I think I have to take Darden just because he's available.
I mean, you're going for quantity here, and I mean I can't blame you. All right, you got the next pick as well.
I think maybe Thomas Graham from Oregon. He seems to have that build that McDermott likes.
All right.
And I did read his profile, and he does seem to be a pretty decent pick for a McDermott defense.
All right, and now you got pick 233, and I believe this rounds out your draft here. Any position you want to look at?
Maybe the tight end, or guard, or interior offensive line. See if there's anything.
My boy Coyote's probably available.
Oh yeah, he's definitely going to be available. Let's keep scrolling down. There he is.
Who's the top of the guard chart right now?
Top of the guard
it's
chart
like,
right now. Morrissey. Let's see what. Any other position you want to look at? Tight end, you said.
Yeah.
Bushman's out there. Farrell. Yeah, I don't think. I mean, if the Bills don't take a tight end early, I don't really see them taking. I mean, maybe they would take one late, like they did with Sweeney, but I just don't see it this year. I'll go bring up the full board here. So there's your top guys.
And while Zach's debating here, we had Ryan Teal with the super chat. Apologies, Ryan. I had it in full screen mode. He says, "Do you think Barkley walks and we move up from?" I personally don't. I think that you're gonna see the Bills wait out a bunch of their guys: Andre Roberts, Isaiah McKenzie, Tywan Jones, Matt Barkley, Dean Marlowe. I think the Buffalo Bills are just going to let all of those guys hit the market, and those are guys that they'll call up after the draft when no one's calling them. Like if Matt Barkley can go out and someone's going to give Matt Barkley $2-3 million, all right, bye Matt, and we'll roll with Jake Fromm. A quarterback in the SEC who made it to the college football playoffs, like a guy who's not a slouch for a backup, a guy who has potential as a backup, even though he's got a noodle of an arm. But in June, Matt Barkley still hasn't signed anywhere. Brandon Beane can pick up that old telly and call Matt Barkley and say, "Hey, Matt, 1 year, $1 million. You ain't getting any other bites." And Matt Barkley might just love it in Buffalo and want to come back to Buffalo, even if it's at a wicked discount. Because you saw Nathan Peterman got almost $3 million. So I would say probably a fair price for Matt Barkley would be 2.5, with about half of that guaranteed. So, I feel you. I'm gonna say Matt Barkley. I'm gonna say 50-50, and it's all about whether another team makes him an offer. And then Apex coming in saying, "Just sending love your show." Thank you, Apex. Appreciate it. Always appreciate you in the comment section here.
All right, Zach, who we going with to round this thing out?
I will say probably, just because this is like the last pick, I think we'll take a flyer on a tight end, Quentin Morris from Bowling Green. I mean, this could be because I saw him in the Senior Bowl and he made a couple impressive catches, a little bit of impression. Take a flyer on him. Worst case scenario, practice squad him. And
all right, there we go. I don't know why.
All right, so we went like a full 10 minutes over, so we're just going to apologize to our next guest, Kendall. Thank you, Kendall, for hanging in there, and then we'll get to Randy after Kendall.
It's all those seventh rounders.
Yeah, a lot of action going on in that mock. So a solid mock here from top to bottom. Dave, you want to read off top to bottom, and then Zach will let you sign out?
Yeah, my computer's frozen right now. I'll restart it for the next one, but we've got Zaven Collins, Carlos Basham, Spencer Brown, Marvin Wilson, Javian Hawkins, Daz Newsome, Divine Deblo, Jalen Darden, Thomas Graham Jr., and Quentin Morris. What a haul. A lot of guys here, and some good value, too. It wasn't even just like it was quantity over quality here. I mean, Newsome with 173, Darden with 230. So nice job, Zach. This is interesting because I like both of what you and Ryan did. So be fun to start comparing these two. But we'll go ahead and let you go now and restart for our next guest.
Yeah, Zach, just give a quick shout out to what you're working on next and when you'll be dropping that real quick.
So, like you guys mentioned, I'm one of the two BF spies for the off season. So our articles come out on Monday mornings, and I also am participating in the BF mock draft articles that come out on Fridays, so tomorrow. So keep an eye out for that. And you can follow me on Twitter at Zvon2712, and keep an eye out for hashtag JJWatch with my official tracker.
I just mentioned like there are some people who are really enjoying that. I am not one of those people. I'm about over JJ Watch. I don't even care if he signs with the Bills. He just got to go somewhere.
The rabbit hole's fun, man.
All right. Thank you so much, Zach. Really appreciate it. We'll have to have you back soon. All right.
Oh yeah.
Thanks,
take
Zach.
care.
All right. Up next in our mock Draft-A-Palooza, it's Kendall Mursky.
Yeah, you got it.
Welcome, Kendall.
He's a writer from Buffalo Down, and he's always a regular here in the comment section. So we thought we'd give Kendall a ring to come do a mock draft with us. How you doing today, Kendall?
Good, great. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. I'm hyped.
Yeah, no, we appreciate
right.
you join us. What's your philosophy heading into the draft here?
I'm a little bittersweet that I went third, mostly because I love what the first two guys, Ryan and Zach, did. I'm very with that mindset. And I also want to keep it differentiated a little bit. So like, I like what they did. I kind of have a similar mindset. I'd like to get a fourth rounder because I feel like there's just too many guys that are good in between our third and fifth round that I would like to have a chance at getting. So if it's possible, that's something I would be interested in. Trading back from 30, but I mean, yeah, if it's not a thing, it's not really worth it, and I'll just attack the trenches early.
And here's the before you click the decline button.
Well, he might not decline this, right? I mean,
I think he just said, what is it?
I looked at it in his.
What is it?
You're moving back. You're moving back 3 spots, and you're picking up a fifth rounder. So
a fifth rounder. Oh yeah.
Is that earlier than our current fifth rounders?
I think it's right, but I think it's earlier than our 2 5th rounders.
Yeah.
And here's another thing too.
Honestly,
If you drop back to 30, there's another chance that like a player will continue to slip, and you might get an offer for that 30th pick too. So
yeah, it's true.
Could be a chance you get an offer for that 30th pick, or I'm
Could
sorry, the 33rd pick.
Could I see who's on the board before I accept this? Because if 146 is before our 162, 175.
Mac Jones. I wonder if they're trading. Probably not. They got.
That's the thing. Like you would think the Panthers or the Jags, the Jets, Falcons, someone would be interested in Mac Jones.
There ain't anyone too crazy. I think Zaven Collins is definitely the one. Kadarius Toney.
That's the thing. I wouldn't want to miss out on Collins if I trade back, but at the same time, I would be getting better value for a guard like Davis, Dickerson, someone like that. So I'm going to trade back just to get some more value and maybe get Collins.
All right, so do you want to accept this offer just to move back 3? You get that extra 5th rounder. I'll go ahead.
Yeah, why not?
All right, do that. And there you go.
And but hey, you got an offer now. You got an offer now for this third pick, right? So what is Dallas offering?
Future fourth.
Future fourth to move.
Maybe you can counter with the current fourth. They have one.
Check what the what is that?
Oh,
the
there's
Eagles?
2 other offers. There's 2
other offers. We got the Giants offering a 4th
42.
this year to move down. This is actually 2 higher spots than Dallas, so you're moving down 9 spots here, getting a 4th this year. And the other offers from the Eagles is a 5th, but you're only moving down 4 spots.
That Giants deal is tempting.
Yeah, so I want you to look at the Giants deal and check who's on the board, because now that Collins is gone, I want to make sure I'm getting a guard.
Okay, this is moving down 9 spots, keep in mind. So
exactly. I don't want to miss out on those top 3 guard prospects.
I would just put a guard specific, Dave.
Okay. So White, Dave's there, Humphrey. I mean, I think you'll probably
I think one of those 3 has to fall. So yeah, definitely take that trade.
Okay.
They have
gonna
not.
accept
Trey
the
Myers is
Giants
not. Trey Smith. Trey Myers.
Trey
Myers
Smith,
is
yeah.
not a bad consolation prize either.
Yeah, for
All
sure.
right, there you go. So there. Oh my God.
Get it out of here. We're done with the trade backs. It's too much.
All right. We're just gonna
Oh my,
decline
these
from
teams are
here on.
thirsty.
So we haven't even made a pick yet. Oh my God. I can't hit decline fast enough.
Wyatt
All right,
Davis is
finally on the
still
board,
there.
and Wyatt
Yeah,
Davis is
Take
available.
him. Take
Okay,
him.
I love this. We're going differentiation. Do you want me to just decline from here on out, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, honestly, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with just standing pat with all the picks I just
All right.
acquired, and both the tight ends are gone.
Ryan, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. He says 135 people, 135 likes. Let's go. Smash those likes, people. Thank you. Appreciate it. If you like the way Kendall's drafted here, smash
Can
that
we
like.
get as many likes as trade offers that we're getting? That would be ideal. All right, and we finally made it. We're on the board. Let me blow up the main big board
Nickerson isn't
here.
on the
Hey,
board. You just want to completely reinvent the wheel in the middle of that defense, in the middle of that.
No, we got to keep Morse. We can't move on from everything. All right, so
I
this
love
is
Murray, but he's not really a big fit for us. Like, he was the Jim Thorpe Award winner, but I don't know schematically if he's a fit for us. But he's a monster. I love him.
so for me, this is tough because once again, the differentiation. I want to go Boogie. Like I see it, everyone sees it. I want to go Boogie. At the same time, still have a linebacker need, and I'm pretty sure. Yep, Surratt went. So I'm pretty much banking on
Jabril Cox is available.
hoping Jabril Cox is there
He's
for
there.
my next pick.
Oh, for your next pick.
Nah, he's not gonna.
He's
probably
not
be
going to
for
make
your
it there,
next
dude.
pick.
There's
Fourth
a-
round?
But I also got a 4th round pick, so I can also bank on the fact that now I have a chance at Tony Fields in the 4th.
Yeah, Tony Fields
Steve's
and
guy.
Monty Rice.
So I think I'm going to go Boogie because there's no telling if we're going to get JJ. Even if we do, I like what he's going to bring for the future.
Well, one thing's been consistent. Everyone likes Boogie. which we can
Everyone
all
likes
agree on.
Boogie. He pops. He pops big.
I love Boogie. One of my good friends went to Wake, and he was like, he's a Panthers fan, and he's like, if the Bills get Boogie, I'm going to be so mad. All right, so Malifonwu just went at 85. All
I think
right,
Jabril Cox
you
is
are up.
No,
Yeah.
he didn't. Oh, did he?
I think.
Oh, my guy Adebo just went one pick before. Damn.
Go to the outside linebacker, see who's there.
Ooh, Hamza's
Kenny Gainwell
available.
and Michael Carter sitting there. Monty Rice and Tony Fields are both there for you.
So I
Right.
like Gainwell a lot. I like the versatility that he brings. I personally would rather focus on the trenches and then get a running back like 5th and later, someone
Yeah.
else just to add to the room.
I think Michael Carter is the best back in the draft.
I am not far off with that. I like what he brings as a receiving back, just kind of his scat back kind of feel. I kind of want to go Nasir Al-Din here though.
Ooh,
Ooh, yeah,
now
we're
we're
on
talking. Now we're talking.
He fell. I don't have a linebacker.
Yeah.
And hopefully I could pair him with Tony Fields kind of to cover my bases with my next pick. And then they could kind of, rotate a little bit at that big dime, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
All
I think I'm gonna do that.
Even a guy like Tyrell Dotson, if he's rotating with Hamza, I think
I
you could make it
like.
work.
Yeah, that's
I
true
like
too.
it. No one had picked Hamza yet, which I was sad about, but it didn't really fall for them. So I'm glad it fell for you,
Yeah.
Kendall.
We're in what, round
because
4 now?
yeah, we're in round 4, and now you've
Ooh.
got this pick that you picked up from whoever the hell was the Giants, I think.
Okay, and Shelvin's just sitting on a
Oh
platter
my
for me.
Ooh.
So I think I have to take Shelvin.
Yeah, you do.
This is the draft that's gonna win. Our
Oh
vote.
my God! Look at this draft. I
If this
love
draft
this
doesn't win, I don't even know. They
I
gave me every
love-
trade I could possibly get.
I love this draft. I mean, it's gonna be hard for me not to vote for this one. I've been a
Yeah.
Wyatt Davis guy since day one. Steve knows. I've been all aboard. I would take Wyatt Davis at 30.
Oh yeah.
I'd
assuming
prefer to
for-
trade back for Davis,
I
but I
know.
mean,
I
obviously
prefer
this
it.
isn't as accurate as it's going to be in real life. So
Right. Okay.
I'd take him
so
at
here
30
we
if it's
go.
available.
See what the linebacker count is here.
Yeah.
Oh,
Tony
Tony's
Fields!
available.
So before I take Tony, I do
Yeah.
want to see what's going on with running back and tight end.
Running back
Hawkins
Hawkins
is
is there. Jarrett Patterson.
I like
Boyd.
Stevenson. He was a big time college back that never really got his due.
The only thing with Stevenson is he different from what we have?
Yeah.
Pro Wells, Carrie Angeline, who we both.
I kind of
I
liked
Angeline.
Noah Gray at the Senior Bowl a little bit. He had some good catches. He's a bit of a
Yeah.
project, though.
Yeah. That would be a reach, 48, so you might be able to get him
He's a
there.
reach. He's a reach. I think Fields is probably the best bet, assuming we don't have Milano, and I don't think Nasir Al-Din is just going to plug and play like that. So I think that's a better way to cover the bases.
All right.
I'm liking this
Looking
addition
good.
to our defense. You got Boogie Basham, who could probably be your starter at left end, Shelvin, who can rotate with Starr, Hamza and Fields, who can sort of give you, the
Oh my
replacement
God.
of Matt Milano there. I think we're adding some good pieces to our defense here.
Hawkins
think,
is still
you know-
available at running back. At this,
This
pick?
is 5 players who could make a day one impact on this defense.
Yeah, so I like the middle rounds of this draft.
Mm-hmm.
Here's your running backs. A lot of people like Jamar Jefferson as well.
I'm a big Chris Evans guy.
I kind of want to keep Jarrett Patterson in Buffalo.
You want Jared
I
Patterson?
comp to him.
I don't know. Can you check? Actually, we already have a safety.
Tackle maybe.
Yeah,
What'd you say?
definitely
What position?
look at tackle.
Cordell, teammates with Dylan Radunes.
Yeah, he's a bit smaller, right? He's a bit more slight. Olsen.
Radunes is the guy I like, but Cordell wouldn't be a terrible late round pick. I like Brendan
Right
James
tackle.
as
He's
my
right
late.
tackle only though. He
Yeah,
doesn't have any swing capability.
Brendan James is my late tackle guy that I like in this draft, but a lot of people have different opinions on tackles this late.
Do you mind checking wide receiver real quick? Because I do want to get that 2-1 Mackenzie Roberts action. I know Randy's thinking Shi Smith,
Oh, Randy's
Short.
definitely taking Shi Smith.
but I want to just wait for Darden like everyone else has. It's just he might be that Tyreek Hill light.
He doesn't give you the multifaceted. He doesn't give you the multifaceted thing like Jalen Darden does or an Anthony Schwartz does. But
Yeah.
if Cordell Powell is sitting there in the 5th round, he's a guy I think could come in right away and could fill the John Brown role as a guy.
I'm
who
a Cornell
platoons-
Powell fan too.
Yeah.
I'm
as a guy who platoons with Gabe Davis because I think he's got that downfield speed. I think he could be an outside receiver, and I think he's played at Clemson a hell of a long time. So I think he's a guy who could step in right away and platoon with Gabe Davis. But obviously, this is your draft. You want to go for that 2-for-1? It's going to be Schwartz or
Yeah,
Jalen
exactly.
Darden.
I'd rather go for the 2-for-1. Just try to make that one contract moving forward.
So who
I'm
do you
gonna say go Schwartz. Take the value pick.
Steve likes Schwartz.
4.28 speed. Who doesn't like Schwartz?
I
Give
mean,
that
you
man
like
a
John
couple
Ross?
reverses a game. Throw a couple
All right.
screen passes his way.
All right. I'm going back to the big
Yeah,
board here. Slayton. Well, you already got Shelvin.
Oh, you want to just add 2 big fatties?
I wouldn't. I like Wyatt Hubert as a late edge personally, as maybe if you already have it. But again, just
He is a
throwing
good
names out
motor.
there,
I
guys.
noticed that.
Yeah, he was productive at Kansas State. I mean, I honestly,
you want to check out the Javian Hawkins is still there at running back.
yeah.
Jonathan Cooper is a really good pass rush only edge in Jonathan Cooper. I don't think he could be an every down edge, but Jonathan Cooper's a solid.
He would be a nice eventual replacement to Jerry Hughes. He would be a nice guy to stand in late rounds. He could develop behind
he's
Jerry.
Out like a sore thumb as a 141 at 175.
Yeah.
I think it's tough not to take Hawkins here, though.
Mm-hmm.
You want Hawkins?
Yeah.
Fair enough. I like it.
That could have been a spot to go for a 2 for wide receiver with Randy's boy Shy.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
No, you gotta leave Shy for Randy.
That too.
All right, so we're coming up into round 7 here pretty soon, and should be just
Almost there. Oh, we're still at a 6th round pick.
Yep, 6th rounder.
Darden's still on the board.
I know. I
like
kind of
Cade.
want to take him just for the sake of taking him.
I like Cade too. Cade is a guy who could be a gunner on special teams. He's got a lot of special teams versatility to him. He's a slot guy. Cade Johnson I'm a big fan of his. To me, he played really good special teams at the Senior Bowl as a gunner. So he's a guy who could come
Rochelle's
in
available.
and could make a guy like Tywan Jones expendable. Patrick Johnson's a pretty solid edge prospect too. If you want to click on his bio, Dave, Patrick Johnson. Actually, he might
34
be
games
he might be
played.
34 only.
Yeah,
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 34,
34. Yeah.
I don't trust guys that are like edges that are like 250 and under, man. I mean, Jerry Hughes, like we already have that, you know.
And it took Jerry a while to get going in his career.
Yeah,
I think I'm going to go Darden here and then focus cornerback in round 7.
All right. We've seen some themes here with these drafts with Darden,
Yeah.
Hawkins, and
Bobby's
Basham.
Bobby's not too happy here. You don't
Why? Who
think
did Bobby
Hudson,
want?
Tony, and Dodson can make it work? Think
I
back to
agree. I agree with what he's
2017,
saying.
Bobby.
I agree
So
with what he's saying, but I feel like we covered our bases by getting both Hamza and
Yeah.
Tony.
And not to mention, there's also something called free agency, and guys like Neville Hewitt sitting out there,
Kevin
and
Pierre-Louis.
other linebackers, KJ Wright. Like think back to 2017. We didn't have our linebackers in 2017 when we were successful defense were Zoe, Preston Brown, Ramon Humber, and a rookie Matt Milano, and Raphael Bush coming up into the box. So I think we can make it work.
All right. I think this is your last pick,
Yeah.
Kendall. So who you want to throw a flyer at here with this last one? Any position you want me to look at?
Corner.
Someone
Cornerback.
mentioned Cameron Bynum earlier as a
Yeah,
corner.
Cameron Bynum's there. He's available. Rochelle is usually available in this spot.
I think I'm gonna go with Wilson here.
Marco Wilson.
Yeah, I feel
Bloodline.
like he's the best way to round it out. Just give it, he's got the D1 high conference kind of competition. Give him a chance to make the roster.
Okay,
It's a
here
good
we go.
draft here. So in
Good draft,
summation,
and
Wyatt
Randy's going to
Davis,
be right in time for 9:30. Yeah, so we got Wyatt Davis, Boogie Basham, Hamza, Tyler Shelvin, Tony Fields, Anthony Schwartz, Javian Hawkins, Jalen Darden, Marco Wilson. That's a nice draft.
Ooh, that's a good
right
haul
there.
right there.
It's a good haul. Nice job, Kendall.
Thank you,
All right.
sir.
Yeah, Kendall.
These are
thank
going to
you
be
so
tough to vote on, man. I'm gonna tell you right
Tell the people a little bit about where they can find your work, Kendall.
So most of my stuff is on the buffalodown.com. It's a subdivision of Fansided. Yeah, you can find my stuff on there. It's going to take a little bit to scroll down and find my name, but once you do, you click my name and all my work is going to be there. I'm actually working on another mock draft that's going to be coming up soon. Possibility of trading up. Not a big trend that we've seen, from most Bills fans, but might as well explore the opportunity to do that. So that's going to be coming up soon.
All right. Thank you so much, Kendall. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank
All right,
you.
so that was Kendall Mirsky. You can find him on Twitter at that handle, Mirsky Kendall, and you can find all his written work at the Buffalo Down. All right. Up next is going to be Randy Hartman, who's got this nice,
Last
beautiful,
but not
Abbey.
least.
But before we introduce Randy here, we had our boy Manny, and me and Manny were beefing on Twitter today. So I wanna get Manny's comment in here, so we can kiss and make up. Manny says, "Do you want to know who I love this draft? Who's your secret guy?" Manny, let us know who your secret guy is. I'm curious now. So while Manny oh no, Jeff Skinner. All right, he's joking. Me and Manny were beefing about the Sabres earlier. He says Marlon Williams. So you're gonna have to explain him a little bit. I'm not actually sure who that is, to be honest with you. But Randy comes in, and I'm gonna duck out real quick, guys, while you start this draft because I'm getting a call that I got to take here. So I'm gonna duck out real quick.
No problem. All right, Randy, last but not least here, and I know you've seen all the drafts so far, and I don't think a single Gamecock was selected in any of those drafts. So the board is wide open for you here. So we're going to get this thing rolling.
Yeah.
What's your philosophy going into this as far as like trading up, trading down, the way you want to attack positions? Do you have a philosophy?
Yeah, so I'm operating under the assumption that we got deals done with Jarrell Williams and a short-term deal done with Feliciano.
Okay.
Matt Milano is gone, and Starla Tulele is still on the team. So,
all right, you're getting a couple offers here. Do you want to go through them, or you want to stand pat?
First of all, who's left on the board?
Let's see. I'll show you the board. ETN, Jalen Phillips, Zaven Collins.
All right, Collins
Darius
is still there. And what were our offers? Not the first one to move down with Tampa, but the other one?
There's one with Denver to move down to pick 40. You would give up the first pick. You would get their second, which is pick 40, their fourth rounder and their seventh rounder.
Okay, and what's the third one?
For some reason, I'm not able to see the other. Oh wait, hold on. Why can I not see the other ones?
If the other one's no good, I'll take the Denver offer.
Okay, so now. Oh, is this previous? Oh no, next. Okay, I don't know how. Now that I zoomed, I went out, I don't know how to go check the other ones, so I'm not sure.
All right, just take the Denver offer. We'll move back.
All right. So we're moving back to pick 40.
All right, boys, what we got so far?
We took a trade with Denver. We've got their fourth and seventh rounders to move back 10 spots. We are getting another offer now from Philadelphia. Pass, okay. Getting an offer now from the Rams. They're offering their second and their third for this pick right here. You would move down 17 spots.
Woo-hoo. That's a lot of. That's
what
a
else
lot
we
of
got?
ball.
There's two other offers.
Yep, we've got a second and a fourth from Washington to move down 11 spots. And we've got a second, fifth, and seventh.
Take the Washington deal.
9. Washington, okay. Yeah, actually, that's not bad. 11 spots. All right. So this is really team trade down right here, the way this is going.
This is
not even a pick inside the top 50. All right. Got an offer here from Kansas City.
All right, we're done trading down from here, okay?
All right. We're done trading down. All right. Now this is who you got on the board.
Wyatt.
Randy. So let me know if there's any
Scroll down.
positions you want me to filter on here.
All right, go back up. Pick Redunes.
I like it.
Ooh, I
That's
like
who I would
it.
have taken. I would have
John
taken Redunes as
Cena
well.
lookalike and Dylan Redunes here.
61 is going to be Basham if he's available.
All right. We'll go ahead and decline this trade.
We're just gonna clone Boogie. At this point, if Boogie Basham and Tyler Shelvin don't become Buffalo.
I mean, what's there not to like about his game, though?
I know. I know.
I mean, the guy's a freaking beast.
The one guy, well, so far the one guy who's been picked in all of the 4 mocks was Boogie Basham. We love him.
Who is that guy last year from Boise State who kept dropping?
Hey, what is this? What are they offering here?
They're offering a third and a fourth for your third, fourth, and fifth. And
all right, counter offer, and take the 5th off and see if they take it.
All right.
Randy knows what he's doing now, man. He's been mock drafted like it's nobody's business.
Yeah. They will take that.
Do it.
It looks like.
Ooh,
all right.
Like Costner in draft day.
God, I want all.
All right, so we just moved up to the Panthers pick. Take Jamin Davis. Number 76 right there.
Ooh. Now here's a guy that's not been talked about probably enough, Jamin Davis. So what do you like about him, Randy? Talk about him.
So with Jamin Davis, what you have is a 6'4" outside linebacker with a range that can carry the seam. He's a guy that has good coverage and basically has the ability to go sideline to sideline. So what you're getting is another Tremaine Edmonds, just with less starting experience. So he's going to need a little bit more. He's going to need some coaching, to get up to speed for the pro level. But ultimately, you have the potential for another all-pro out there. I mean, that's what you're looking at.
Well, should I
ideally, like if you don't trade down in the first and you have a shot at Zaven Collins and you have a shot at Davis later, those are 2 linebackers that you could put Collins on the strong side and put Davis on the weak side.
That's what I said. I said Collins might end up being strong side.
Exactly.
Figuring out what to do with.
And then you've got 3 monsters as linebackers.
Yeah. David Arizzi agrees with you here, and Bobby allows it. So you've got Bobby's stamp of approval.
Steve can vouch for me that I said that on Monday show.
right here we have pick 113, and then we have 124 after that. And I
Yep.
take it Shelvin's off the table, right?
Yeah,
he's off the table. He's rated in the 90s, and he's off.
He's off.
Yeah.
He's off.
All right, so go back to our big boards.
Yep.
All right, so
guys
right
there.
here we got Israel Mukuamu. He's going to come off right now, and then at 124, we'll see if my other guys are going to go. Probably is.
Randy, you are.
He just knows what he's doing, man.
You are calculating.
He's prepared for draft day.
All right, so go to our picks that we have so far.
All right, we got Radunes, Basham, Davis, and Mukamu. How do you say his name?
Mukuamu.
Mukuamu.
All right, so we got our versatile range corner that can slide in the slot or play safety. We've got our outside linebacker to replace Milano. We got an edge on the other side. So what we're looking at right now is going to be a guard flex, or possibly wide receiver, another position. I think wide receiver is early for 4.
Mhm.
So
Can I tell you a name I like? Can I tell you a name I like?
Yeah, go ahead.
Jack Anderson from Texas Tech.
Right. Yeah.
Got a lot of flex.
That's a good
He's on
one.
the
Go to our interior offensive lineman.
Is he there? I don't think he's there.
right?
Oh, yeah, he is there. Jack Anderson. He's
I
rather
think-
so far down.
But Randy's, where Randy's.
But guess what? 2
know
spots
where-
ahead of Jack Anderson is my guy, Sedarius Hutchinson, and that's going to be the man.
All right.
I knew it. But that's okay.
It's okay.
What happened? We were hoping.
I also
this would
like
happen.
Kendrick Green in there, by the way, too. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on Kendrick Green. I'm starting to fall in
I
love with
don't
some of
have
these
any.
middle round interior offensive linemen.
I think there's a lot of interior offensive linemen out there.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of those tackles are going to be interior offensive linemen.
Mhm.
All right.
Braden James is going to be an interior offensive lineman.
Yeah.
All right. 162, round 5, big board. Javion Hawkins.
Okay.
I thought you were gonna go for the triple play there with USC guys.
That'll be next.
Look at all these picks.
Do you think that if this happens, that Will Muschamp will end up on the Buffalo Bills defensive coaching staff?
I
Shall I
hope
go ahead
not.
and do this,
Muschamp
Randy?
sucks. Shai Smith will be next.
What do you think about the new coach, the nepotism hire there? And you think he's earned it?
What, Beamer? I mean,
Yeah.
we'll see what he can do. It can't possibly be worse than Muschamp, man. I mean, that guy was awful, and it was a bad hire to begin with. I mean, he took the bottom dollar deal, and it just, like I said, I was waiting for him to get fired from the day that he got hired. So, whatever.
Yeah, my brother-in-law is a Gamecock, and he same thing, Randy. He said the same thing as you, just waiting for him to get fired, basically. All right. Ooh, my guy Wyatt Hubert's available, but it's your draft, Randy.
214. Let's see. So we've got receiver, running back, interior offensive line, tackle. We've got corner, linebacker, edge. What do we really need right now? We're looking at maybe a safety. Is Bledsoe available, or is he gone?
I think Bledsoe would be gone at this point.
Yeah, he's gone.
He's long gone, huh?
I like Crosswell, but he's not a big corner. He's more of he's young, he's raw, and he's a guy who would replace Micah Hyde eventually. But I like Crosswell.
Go to interior defensive line. Sorry. And I got another pick at 230, don't I?
Yeah.
Yes.
I like Tonga and Naquan too.
Right. So the question here is, do we go for Tonga? Do we try and wait it out and see if Naquan falls?
I don't think.
Or look, is the kid from Florida still down there? Yeah, he is. Kyrie Campbell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you'll be able to get him.
Yeah, you'll definitely be able to get him. What do you think about him? Because I was just reading up about him. I haven't watched a whole lot on him. He looks just like a big ass space eater.
Yeah,
I've only looked into Slayton at this point. I haven't looked into Kimball.
He's like 6'4" or 6'5", like 350.
Ooh, let me pull up his.
Draft
6'3",
number has him at
350.
6'3". Yeah, they have him only listed at 304 on here.
Oh wait, no, that's a different guy from Florida. There's another guy from Florida. He's probably ranked lower than that.
Tedderell Slayton.
Yes.
He was gone. He was a
he's
fourth,
gone?
higher. He's
fourth,
higher,
fifth rounder. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Slayton's the guy that I like.
Tell you what,
Bobby.
here. I know everybody likes to have a Samoan, but I'm going to go with Naquan Jones.
I And tell me if I'm wrong here. I feel like maybe the Buffalo Bills met with Naquan Jones last year before he decided to return to college. The Bills met with some defensive linemen from Michigan State, and the Bills are always scouting MSU guys. So
No, that was the super athletic freak dude, wasn't it?
not the edge. Yeah, not the edge. They met with the edge too, but there was an interior D lineman last year.
Yeah, we liked. What was that guy's name? We mocked him so many times.
Yeah,
I'm gonna look him up right now.
But anyway, you got
230
in a row here.
Yeah, we got to go back to the big board. We're still on
Raekwon Williams. Was that who it was, Steve? Raekwon Williams.
Raekwon Williams. That's what Raekwon. That's what got me.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. What did you say, Randy? Where do you want me to go?
Just go. Yeah, back to the big board because we were stuck on interior.
You got 2 picks in a row here.
Oh man, you guys like this Darden guy? He's gone a couple times. Scroll down.
I like Cade Johnson too.
I like Racy McMahon, but that's kind of like he's probably
Antonio Nunn.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and take Rochelle, just as a guy as a backup on the outside practice squad guy.
Okay.
And then after that is Braden James still available. Go ahead and fortify that flex position. Is he gone?
He's gone.
All right, we'll go with my guy Cole Van Lanen. I know Steve doesn't like the Wisconsin guys, but I'll take him.
Van Lanen's in the tackle spot, Dave.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, he'll be a developmental go up. He'll be in developmental Darrell Williams backup.
There you go. I think that rounds it out.
Yeah, I think that rounds out. Yeah, that's all of them.
We have done it.
So we got Radunes, Basham, Davis, Mukuamu, Hutchinson, Javion Hawkins, Shai Smith, Naquan Jones, Robert Rochelle, and Cole Van Lanen. So you basically filled all your holes, plus you got some extra depth on top of that.
Nothing wrong with filling holes.
And I know David Arizi seems to think there was too many South Carolina guys in there. You're probably right, but, it's my party, and I'll draft them if I want to.
All right.
People decide on Twitter.
Yeah.
So some themes. Basham in every draft. A lot of trade downs.
A lot of Jalen Darden.
A lot of Jalen Darden. Couple Javion Hawkins. I think 3 out of 4 had Hawkins.
Some Tyler Shelvin.
A lot of Tyler Shelvin. A couple first picks being offensive line.
My draft was the most independent thinker of the group.
You definitely went outside the box. I will give you that. My draft would have been the same as yours, but just like UB guys. I would have taken like Antonio Nunn round 7. I would have taken Jared Patterson round 5.
I was praying for Collins to fall to 40 and then do the Collins Davis double dip that I was talking about. That's what I was really hoping to happen, but Collins went right after we traded Jones.
Here's my question for you, because I know Lorenzo Alexander did play a lot when he was in Buffalo, but do you really think that that's what Sean McDermott wants, or do you think he wants to steer more towards bringing in more secondary guys? Do you see Sean McDermott willing to use that much capital on 2 linebackers and play them that much?
Yes, because I think ultimately they want to be multiple and versatile and not predictable. And so when they have to go nickel and flex Teron Johnson in because A.J. Klein cannot cover, it makes them one-dimensional from that, in that aspect. So if they have a guy like Collins who can carry the seam, who can follow a tight end, and then a guy like Davis on the other side who can do the same things, it opens you up to more disguised blitzes and things like that. I mean, it gives you a lot more options than if you just have to bring Teron Johnson in for nickel. That doesn't mean that you're not going to bring him in for nickel. You might take Collins off the field for a down or two, but ultimately you have more options with 2 versatile outside linebackers. And, who knows? They might blow it up and move Tremaine outside at some point. I don't think it's going to happen. They've invested way too much there, but it's possible.
All right. Well, thank you, Randy. We really appreciate it. And I think this is just going to about do it because, ladies and gentlemen, Dave is a father. Yeah. He's got some diaper change. And I expected my fiance home like an hour ago to let the dogs out. My dogs are just sitting in our patio room barking their heads off right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are human behind these screens here. So until next time, thank you, Randy, so much. We super appreciate it.
No problem, guys.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.